What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a very long time since I made you guys like a Knicks recap video, because I believe the Knicks haven't played since Friday, which is just absolutely insane. But the New York Knicks took care of business, like destroying the Houston Rockets in Houston, 122-97. Let's say this definitely was expected. They're projected to have like a top 3 pick when it comes to the upcoming 2021 like NBA draft, of course. When you just take a look at the Houston Rockets, there's not really any big time veteran leadership. John Wall was out in this basketball game, but Kevin Porter Jr., he proved that he could drop 50 up against a good defensive team of the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo did go down, but still 50 points no matter what level, like what team you're playing up against. You're playing in the pros and you dropped 50 points. They have a good young defensive player of Jae'Sean Tate. Christian Wood, his ability to stretch the floor, knock down threes, and block shots as well. Of course, I always give like Steven Silas like the benefit of the doubt, just like what he was handed was literally nothing at all, just a bunch of young pieces that are raw, not fully developed, and they're like, go out there and win basketball games. Or I'm not sure what the ownership's like philosophy really was with that. But yes, you take a look at this Houston Rockets team, they have some young talent like Kenyon Martin Jr. as well, but they're not like to that point. Like, they're still learning how to win basketball games, you know. But this is a game you should win, but I did expect us to be like a little rusty. I thought we needed a wake-up call, but at the end of the day, we did take care of business. So we're gonna start off like in the first quarter of this basketball game. You take a look at the first quarter, it was close when it came to the very beginning. At one point, the Rockets were actually up. They went on like a 6-0 run, and Randall actually started off pretty well. But this actually is what I loved about Tom Thibodeau. Even though Julius Randle was hitting his shots, RJ was getting some things going offensively at the beginning of this game. I really liked the energy from Nerlens Noel. Randle had kind of this turnover. It was like, I don't give a crap. Like, I'm just leaving it out there like a loaf of bread for someone to just take it away, you know? And it ended up being a big turnover, and it resulted in points, I believe, for the Houston Rockets on the other end, like transition bucket. So Tom Thibodeau, I believe he just ripped into the Knicks, called a timeout, and that really just gave a resurgence, or just really lit a spark under the New York Knicks. And right away, right out the gate, getting buckets like left and right. If it was Julius Randle, if it was everyone out there when it came to the basketball club, quickly. 3. Derrick Rose, he was amazing tonight, over 20 points off the bench. Like, I believe it was like 40 to like 9. It was just such a big differential when it came to the bench points, because of course we know Quickly's able to provide. Of course, he scored a lot of points in the fourth quarter. We know what Rose is able to bring as well when it comes to this bench for the New York Knicks, and just it was such a collaborative effort, and just literally it got to the point that we had so much momentum. We were up double digits. At one point we were actually up 18 points in this basketball game. Again, you do have to keep in mind the Rockets are really bad. They're projected to have a top 4 pick when it comes to lottery, of course, and they're going to get one of those top tier talents, maybe of a Cade Cunningham, of a Jalen Suggs, of a guy, of course. I'm not sure if they're going to go out there getting Evan Mobley, because they have Christian Wood. They might have their big of the future. But yes, they couldn't hit free throws. They couldn't hit shots from beyond the arc. Our defense was amazing. I loved our ball movement. Julius Randle was just way too much for the Houston Rockets when you really take a look at it, because they have talent, like I said, but they're just a very raw basketball club. The thing I really didn't understand, like, at all, of course, Derrick Rose lighting, just having this amazing spark, but besides Derrick Rose scoring the ball, we knew what Julius Randle was able to do, like 30 points in 3 quarters. I thought this was a bad coaching job. Again, he doesn't have a lot of talent, but this is common sense. When there's a guy of Julius Randle just absolutely going off, you double team him. I swear, I didn't see Julius Randle be double teamed once in this basketball game. I thought it was an atrocious job by Steven Silas. Let an RJ Barrett beat you. Let a Bullock beat you. Because you know those guys like struggle off the dribble. Payne's not always going to really be efficient around the rim, even though I thought he showed some solid sparks in the third quarter. But yeah, it was literally the Julius Randle show. Yes, there was some like stints there and there that the Rockets did get buckets, but it was literally the New York Knicks, all like literally the whole first half. And I even thought like Gibson did a good job really shielding people off, boxing out. playing really physical, because you know that could really get the young players frustrated. I even thought Obi Toppin did a good job drawing fouls. I thought he played some solid defense as well. He had a big time block like in transition, I believe, when the Rockets were pushing it, but he did a good job initiating contact or drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line, which I really got to give credit to Obi Toppin. He had a solid first half in my opinion. Not much defense being played by the Houston Rockets. 30 points in the first quarter. This is still a young basketball club that's learning. They're learning how to win games. Like, through a lot of ups and downs. Of course, they ended up beating the Milwaukee Bucks, even though Giannis went down in the first quarter. But they do have guys that are capable of really going on big time scoring runs, like a Christian Wood, like a Kevin Porter Jr., like I said. But they didn't really have it tonight. The Knicks did a really good job, really fronting them, really making them feel very frustrated in this basketball game. And we did a really good job just containing the three-point line. What has been our problem in the past? Guarding the three-point line or just defense in general? Of course, in most of the statistical categories when it comes to the defense side of the basketball, we are top 10. Like compared to last year, bottom of the barrel, just absolutely atrocious. We forced the Rockets to just shoot terrible, chuck up bad shots. They shot 3 of 18. When it was halftime, they shot 3 of 18 from downtown. That's the efficiency they ended up finishing with when it came to halftime. Or just overall in the game, I believe they still shot under 30% from downtown. Yes, I really liked how everyone played. If it was RJ Barrett, if it was Julius Randle, yes, you could say RJ Barrett does need to get better when it comes to backdoor cut situations, of really guarding backdoor and maybe isolation situations. But I think a lot of people, or a lot of Knicks fans, because some people were bashing RJ Barrett in that one-on-one situation when Kevin Porter Jr. took him to the rack. If people do not know, Kevin Porter Jr. is one of the best isolation scorers like in the NBA. He's his herky-jerky style of play. He's just a professional scorer at the NBA level. We were hitting our shots from downtown. Our defense was amazing. We were just having this really great offensive flow. Third quarter comes around, RJ Barrett and one. I was like, this is beautiful. RJ Barrett, by the way, he had another 20-point game, and of course Julius Randle having 30 points. I believe that is like 8 of the past 11 games he's had at least like 30 plus points, and Derrick Rose over 20 points. Just the spark of the bench was just absolutely amazing. But the thing that actually did suck in the third quarter, RJ Barrett just, of course, he bulldozed like his way over like Kelly Olynyk, but Nerlens Noel was actually clipped in that play, so Noel actually went down with a sprained ankle, which really sucks. Good thing we did sign Pell for the rest of the season, or like potentially for the future, of course, because he does have that shot blocking presence, but he doesn't really have the awareness of Noel. There's some reports that Mitch may come back soon. I'm not sure if those are true, but if Noel goes down, that would be just horrible. If he's out for a long time, we hope he's only out for a couple games, of course. He went down with a sprained ankle, and I literally wanted to cry. To give credit to the Houston Rockets, they actually started to get things going. Like in the first 3 or 4 minutes, the Knicks had 4 turnovers, which was atrocious. I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Not now, just like during the game. It's a joke. But anyway, they got into the bonus right away. They did a good job initiating contact, and I just love Tom Thibodeau. I love when he does this, when anything, like any little thing goes wrong, because the Rockets were actually starting to get buckets. Keep in mind, we're up 18 at one point in this game. I believe they ended up cutting it to 15, because you know the Knicks love blowing these leads. They always want to make it scary, even though like if it only is like 15 points, I'm okay with that, because usually it comes down to like 2, and I'm like, Jesus, just like why are you doing this to me, you know, the Knicks. But yeah, we ended up calling a timeout, and just Julius Randle right out the gate, the fadeaway jumper, shots from downtown. He's just been amazing this season. And RJ Barrett did a good job getting to the cup, really maneuvering his way with great body control to the cup. Reggie Bullock, some big time threes. There was one play I absolutely loved. It was really unselfish. I forgot who had it in the corner, but they ended up swinging it to Julius Randle. He had a wide open 3, but he was like, let's get an even better shot. And they kept moving the ball, and then Bullock drilled a big time 3 in the corner. Julius Randle was too much for the New York Knicks, like literally everyone. You could say Obi Toppin didn't have the best of second half. He really was atrocious defensively, allowing just lob passes over him every single time. He definitely did play erratic defensively. But yeah, Julius Randle, just amazing. Like I said, they did cut it to 15, but then at one point we ended up like really just exploding the lead back to what it was in the first half, up 93-71. And to start off like in the fourth quarter, RJ Barrett like off the dribble 3, which is amazing, because like that's something he really needs to work on if he wants to take his game to the next level, really scoring off the dribble, you know. So it was amazing, just crossing half court. Didn't really have a crossover move, but just an off the dribble 3 was just an amazing sight to see. Of course, he is shooting 39% 39% from downtown, which is just amazing. That's a good clip. I believe the league average is 36 because he is really transformed his game into being this good catch and shoot shooter. But if he could perform like being like solid off the dribble when it comes to downtown, that could be scary for the NBA in my opinion. Yes, it was just the Emmanuel Quickly show. Like in the fourth quarter, you could pretty much say it was like garbage time buckets. We know like we know Quickly loves doing this. Like when it comes to the fourth quarter, we could be up a lot of points or down a lot of points, and when the game's kind of over, we know Quickly loves just zoning in. Like he just loves zoning in at the basket. He's like, I'm gonna shoot like shots from literally the logo, which he did. I believe he shot a 3 from like the tee when it came to the Rockets logo. He was just drilling threes from literally Lillard and Curry range, scoop shots around the basket. Their defense was atrocious though at the end of the day, and I love the decision by Tom Thibodeau. Of course, we do have a game back-to-back playing the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow that we did not play Julius Randle in the fourth quarter, which made me very happy. We really got to rest him for a big-time game versus Memphis, and at one point we did take RJ Barrett out when it came to the fourth quarter. Same thing with Derrick Rose, but literally just we were way too much for the Houston Rockets if it's from a talent like aspect. Of course, being more experienced, executing when it came to 48 minutes of basketball, pretty much winning every single quarter. Yes, we started to foul, and Obi Toppin like allowed some entry passes over the top if it was to a Kenyon Martin Jr. or even, of course, a guy of Christian Wood, of course. But yes, we do have to get better when it comes to those entry passes, or Obi Toppin needs to stop allowing those and doing a good job of like really fronting them. But I thought Obi Toppin had a good first half, struggled in the second half. So I just loved how Tom Thibodeau just ripped into the team. Like we were up 1,000,000 points, but Obi Toppin, of course, getting beat backdoor, and just Kevin Porter Jr. really initiating contact, which I can't blame Obi Toppin with because like Kevin Porter Jr. is really good off the dribble. But Tom Thibodeau's never satisfied, no nonsense mentality. I just absolutely love it because we can't mess around and lose this basketball game. At one point, we were up 35 points in the fourth quarter. The Knicks came out victorious, a much needed victory. Had to get this dub. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.